Hey, what's up, guys? Jose Burgos here from the Expansion Gaming Corner, and today we are here from our store, the Expansion Gaming Corner in Millersburg, Ohio, and we are having an absolutely beautiful day. And today we have taken this day to share with you some of the stories that we enjoy and give you a little content on our channel. And so I want to give you a little bit of insight as to who I am. My name is Jose Burgos. I'm an avid comic book lover. I've loved comic books since I was 5 years old. I collect action figures and toys, hot toys, all kinds of stuff. And I also play all kinds of games, and we do all of that. This store is a reflection of what I've enjoyed since I was a child: Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, sports cards, Magic the Gathering, and a ton of comic books. So with that being said, let's get into the storyline. But before we do that, I'd like you to like, share, and subscribe. And here we go. So today we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin. The Last Ronin is an absolutely epic storyline in which we're talking about a brother that has survived a massive battle, and it's only one. The other three brothers are gone. So we do not know which brother it is at the beginning of the story, and as the story progresses, we slowly start finding out which brother is the one that survived. And we start finding that out closer to the end of issue number 1, but at the beginning of number 2, we definitely find it out. So before we get into that, I want to give you a little bit of background onto the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles have created, it was created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, and this storyline is absolutely epic. I mean, there was Turtle Mania in the late 80s and 90s. If you have not heard of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you've been living under a rock since 1987. So with that being said, let me put this to the side. Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman created Mirage Studios, and the reason it was called Mirage Studios, it's an absolutely badass name, but it was a mirage. The studio wasn't real. It was just two guys inside of their living room doing what they love. They were inspired by Jack Kirby, and so they decided they wanted to be like Jack Kirby, and they wanted to create comic books. Unfortunately, the first comic idea that they had was about a robot, and it failed miserably. They talk about it in extent on many interviews where this robot was just not good. So they decided to just kind of joke with each other and have fun and create a character to make each other laugh. And from that, they actually enjoyed it so much that they created 3 other of the same characters, and that's how we get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So let's get into the storyline. The Last Ronin. I mean, look at that cover. Absolutely badass. He's got a hood. He's got the swords. He's got every single weapon that the brothers have, and that kind of is meant to keep you, attract you visually and keep you focused on the fact that you do not know which brother it is. The story is absolutely amazing. The story starts with one of the brothers going into New York, and he's here to avenge what has happened to his father and to his other brothers. And when he gets into New York, that's under martial law because of Hiroto Saki. Hiroto Saki is the grandson of the Shredder, who's got the whole city under martial law. Now, at the time of the beginning of this comic book, you do not know that Hiroto Saki has the city under martial law, but as the storyline progresses, you start to find that out. Now, he goes into this fight and he's calling out Hiroto, and there's flashbacks in the storyline where Hiroto's seen talking to his mother, Kurai. She's in a coma. You don't know why she's in a coma, but he is calling out Hiroto, and he wants Hiroto bad. So he's fighting against the Foot Clan. He's fighting against the droids. And all of a sudden, he falls off of this building, lands on his back. He's crushed. He's still calling out to Hiroto, but he feels like he's failed. So since he has failed, he decides that he's going to perform Japanese ritual suicide. And in that process, he ends up kind of passing out. Somebody finds him. And that's where the comic starts to come to an end. But as he wakes up, he sees April O'Neil, and she says, "We got a lot to talk about." That is the end of issue number 1. Absolutely badass, very dark, gritty tones, but I love it. So then we move into issue number 2, and these covers are meant to give away a little bit of what's happening in the story. So as you can see, those are Raph's weapons. So it's starting to give away which brother made it and which brother didn't. This story starts off with them bringing in Master Splinter and putting him on a table, and Master Splinter's pretty much dying. April O'Neil is trying to help him. Leonardo and Raph are the ones that brought him in. and you don't know what happened, but the story starts unfolding, and you start hearing about this battle that ended up happening and what was going on. And Raph decides that since they killed his father, he is on his way to go get revenge. And he goes off onto this battle against his brother Leonardo's wishes. They start showing the battle. It's an absolutely epic, I think it's like almost 2-page battle between him and the Foot Clan, and then he ends up fighting Karai. Karai, this is the first time you're introduced to Karai in the story. Karai is the daughter of the Shredder, Irokosaki. And so she is fighting with the Foot Clan against the brother Raph. And as she's fighting Raph, there's this epic battle in which they're cutting each other, they're stabbing each other, all kinds of stuff is happening, and they end up falling into the water. And as they fall into the water, it looks like both of them are drowning or they're both dying. And then it cuts from that scene and it goes back to the future in which Michelangelo is talking to the daughter of Casey Jones and April O'Neil, Casey Marie, and she is showing him their dojo, and she's talking about fighting against the Hiroto clan and her plans. And they start going into the backstory of Michelangelo. In this backstory of Michelangelo, I accidentally just gave it away, but we're going to continue there. I try to be subtle about it. But in the story of Michelangelo, the brother that survived, we end up finding out that he had taken a trip to Japan and all over China, and he had tried to do some training and then come back. And when he comes back to fight. And then the comic book continues to progress, and at the end of the last panel, you see April O'Neil go to a vault. And when she goes to the vault, she pulls out the head of Fugitoid. If you guys don't know who Fugitoid is, we're going to get into that a little bit more. And then we're going to go into issue number 3. Now, I apologize about giving that away. But again, as we're getting into issue number 3, there's only 2 brothers left that it could have been anyways. Because issue number 3, the cover gives away a very big detail. It is Casey Jones' mask and Leonardo's sword. And so as we see this here, we know that Leo is not the brother that made it. So that only leaves 2 brothers. But this story shows kind of what happens. We start going, the very first panels is Hiroto Saki accepting the mantle of the Foot and becoming the leader of the Foot Clan. And he decides that he wants to make peace with the Hamato Yoshi clan. And so he offers to have a meeting and create peace. The very next page is the Splinter and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles speaking on what is happening. And as they're speaking on what is happening, the Turtles ask, should we trust Hiroto? And the Splinter says, no, we can't trust him, but we have to honor traditions, and they are offering peace. This war has taken so many of theirs and so many of ours. We have all lost in this war. Let's try to make peace. After that panel, it shows a gigantic ambush and people are getting shot and all kinds of crazy stuff is happening. And so then it starts showing each brother in their position in the storyline and how they are all going about this. It shows Donnie in the back working with Fugitoid and making jokes with Fugitoid. And then it shows Leonardo and Casey Jones and Michelangelo all together. When all of a sudden they are surrounded by a bunch of droids. They are surrounded by the Foot Clan, and a crazy battle ensues. And when this battle ensues, Michelangelo is sent by Leonardo to go find April O'Neil. In the process, these guys are surrounded, and it cuts to a panel of Baxter Stockman speaking to Fugitoid and telling him that he wants his droid back. And Fugitoid says, I will not go back with you. And Baxter Stockman says, in that case, then if I can't have you, nobody can have you. And he absolutely decimates the place by self-destructing all of the drones, and in essence, leaving this scene right here where he kills Casey Jones and Leonardo. Now, you don't know what's going on, but it jumps back to the future now. And in the future now, April O'Neil is talking to Michelangelo and asking what happened with him, where did he go? And Michelangelo asks, well, what happened to you? In this process, Michelangelo explains that he called out to his brothers and none of his brothers answered, not Donnie, not Raph, and not Leonardo. And April O'Neil starts explaining that she was in a coma for several days, and when she woke up without an arm, and without a leg. And so she had to rehabilitate, and on top of all of these things, she also found out that she was pregnant. This scene is miraculously captured in the very old art style of Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, like the original comic book. It is absolutely a pleasure to read as a fan. And then from there, they start talking about Casey Marie, and Casey Marie starts explaining how she can fight the Foot Clan. Michelangelo says it's a suicide mission, and she's absolutely crazy, but she says, I'm not asking you for permission, we're going about this. And so, April O'Neil is trying to get back Fugitoid, but the only thing that's left of Fugitoid is his head, and they're planning on using Fugitoid to be able to fight against Baxter Stockman first, and then finish off Hiroto Saki next. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this video, and I want to tell you guys, this storyline is absolutely epic. I absolutely love it. And I hope you guys enjoy it too. So again, like, subscribe, and check us out for future videos. See you guys.